Professor of New Media at Columbia Journalism School. He has, he's a tech reporter who's always up on the latest thing. I subscribe to his newsletter, so I'm kind of always up on what Sree's up to. And today he's going to talk to us about a number of things that we need to think about as book critics. I'm not going to cut into his time any further. He's going to give us a background, and then he's going to have time for questions from the audience, which I think also will be important. Thank you, Sree. I appreciate your being here.
Thanks, everybody, and thank you for having me. This is a real honor to be at NBCC. NBC's got nothing on NBC. I want to first tell you that I am not an engineer, but I play one on TV. I'm really a print guy who happens to like some aspects of television and online. I subscribe to 2 daily newspapers and 5 magazines, and I love print. I love ink on my hands, and I believe that despite everything that's happening around us, that there's still a place for newspapers, and there will continue to be. So I just wanted to lay that out there. If you've seen today's front page of the New York Times, which you may not have had a sense to see, they're talking about newspaper towns and how we used to always at least have 2 newspapers in every city in America, and now we're going to 1 for sure, and then some 0. And what that means for the readership, what that means for journalists, but mostly what that means for book critics is what you're interested in, and we'll get to that as we're going forward. I have about 45 minutes altogether, and I want to make sure we get as many of your questions in as possible. There are a few things that I wanted to lay out, and then we'll just take it from there. I want to give a shout out to my really good friend Geeta Sharma Jensen. Where is she? There she is. Who's I get to see because she's here today for the conference. So that's terrific. I think many of you know her from Milwaukee. Okay, so let's talk about the landscape and how it's changing, and how I can try to give you some takeaways that you can go home when you're done with the conference and work on. So I'll be shouting out several different websites, web ideas, so you will probably want to write it down. I presume you have a piece of paper, and you want to leave today with at least 5 things that you've written down about the presentation, takeaways that you can use. This is a site I want to try. This is something that's worth my time, or I can't believe Jane brought this clown in. What a waste of time. When is the panel? What's for lunch? All of those. But make notes. If you leave with a blank piece of paper or no piece of paper, you've not made use of this time, and it's really important that we do that. Okay. So first site, if you go to sreetips.com, you'll find almost everything I'm talking about there. But I'm constantly adding new stuff to the things that I'm interested in, and they may not always be here. I have another website which is just sree.net, SREE.net, but no Sree.com. Sree.com is a chain of motels in Florida. And so one of the most important themes that I'm going to hit upon today is the importance of your cyber identity, especially the work that you do. It's more important than almost any other field, though I say that to every group of people I talk to. I'm doing a panel this evening at Christie's about the future of arts journalism, and a lot of the things I'm going to be talking about today apply there as well. I'm doing travel writers next week, this same session, but 3 hours rather than 45 minutes, so we'll just see. I'll try to just hit some of the highlights. When you go onto the site, one of the things you'll find that you'll want to check out is the section here. Hold on, let me just see if I don't get in my own way. 10 things to try today is on the sheet of paper. By the way, I want to give you my email address, sree@sree.net. Please think of this as kind of our first interaction, and as you have questions, follow-ups, I'm very happy to help you. Also, if you want to get on my mailing list, just drop me a note and just say NBCC, and I will add you to my mailing list. And before you leave today, or between me and the panel, if you want to just come up and give either a business card or give me your email address, I can add you on the stuff as well. So I'm going to first concentrate on the thing I just said about your cyber identity. But another way to look at it is the importance of your platform. And I think that what critics and folks in the book industry who are so worried about everything that's happening around us, that one of the things you can do for yourself is to build your brand even stronger than you have for all these years. Most of you, obviously, I guess everyone here is an actual critic. Are there people who do other things? What are the other things? Just so I marketing consultant, okay. Photography and
Teaching.
agent, okay.
Teaching.
Teaching, sorry. Agent would be good too, right? Because I find every book critic is actually an author. Is that correct? Like everybody wants to be an author, or almost everybody. So, or we all have a novel in us somewhere, right? Like every journalist. That's what I found. So the importance of your cyber identity, the importance of your brand, and you can see that I don't have Sree.com, so just because I believe this, I didn't move fast enough. And you'll think, wow, Sree is not that common a name. It's like Smith over there in India, so it's I should have moved much faster. Anyway, so first we're going to talk about social networking because that's what a lot of people are thinking about. Let's look around you. Raise your hands. How many of you on Facebook? Raise your hand. Look at that. This is interesting. Just look around. Look at your folks and see who's on Facebook. And you hate it. That's good. So we'll talk about that in a minute. How many of you, just look around you, how many of you are on Twitter? Raise your hand. Look at that. That's a good number. How many of you are on LinkedIn? Okay, look, nobody's looking, but okay. People in the front are refusing to turn around and follow instructions, just like my students. It's wonderful. Okay. So let me give you my thoughts on social networking, and then starting with Geeta's great line, right in there, I hate it. That's good. We'll address that as well. There are dozens of social networking websites, but I focused specifically on 3 of them, and I think those are the 3 that everyone in this room should be not just aware of, but using to do their work better. And we'll walk through them very quickly. The first is LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, I used to call MySpace for adults, but that sounded strange. So I changed to MySpace for professionals. If you want the adults one, come talk to me later. I'll give that to you privately. But MySpace for professionals is LinkedIn. And I think that's the place that you can go when you're trying to make connections based on work. It is something that you fill in. Some of you use it, obviously. And I think that it works well for what it is. And it's something that has taken off in the last couple of years. It was very techy, has a lot of technologies, very techie heavy, and then slowly it's changing. I'm seeing a lot of editors on there. I'm seeing a lot of journalists, photographers. Others are slowly moving on to LinkedIn. So that's one site. And by the way, I can answer any questions about them. Facebook is a site that you saw how many of you are on. I believe everybody should be on Facebook.
Facebook.
Yes.
The NBCC started a Facebook group. So
excellent. How many of you are on the Facebook? How many of you are on that?
Please join it.
So did they just search NBCC or National Books Critics?
National Book Critics.
How many of you are on that? Raise your hand. Okay. Everybody should be on there. And let me explain my philosophy about Facebook and then address Geeta's specific point. That Facebook isn't competing with MySpace or LinkedIn or Twitter. Facebook is competing with the internet. They believe that you can do everything you do on the internet on Facebook, and you should. I don't believe that it replaces the internet, but it has become a major place where the conversation takes place. And if you're a person of letters, man, woman of letters, you're a writer, you're an editor, you're a critic, you're an agent, photographer, etc., you want to be in the conversation. You want to be part of the conversation. Either you want to follow the conversation, or you want to participate in it, or you want to be you want to be conversated about, if that's even a word, right?
No.
You want your review you want people to be talking about you and talking about your work especially. That's really important. Some of you are authors, you want your work talked about. So let's walk through a couple of things on Facebook.